that I do want to talk about tonight while we wait for people to come on in, while we wait for people to call into the show. And you got to call in through the StreamYard link, which is going to be in the video description as well in the chat. And that's going to be a good way to do it. My mods might show up and drop the Discord link maybe towards the end, depending on when he gets here. I'm just saying. However, there was a fun little thing that did come out a couple days ago, right? A fun little article popping up on time.com, right? Time.com popped up titled How Far-Right Personalities and Conspiracy Theorists Are Cashing In on the Online or the Pandemic Online. Now, the article, just from the headline, makes you question, oh, what's Alex Jones up to these days? How is he cashing in on this? Is he verbally assaulting teenagers at a park in Austin, Texas? Or is he actually out there attempting to, break the conditioning and expose the Illuminati and free us from the control of the lizard people? And again, George Soros, if you believe it. Alex Jones. Actually, no, this Time article has a lot to do with DLive, of all places. DLive is a streaming service I'm sure the people who listen to this program are fully aware of. It's a streaming service where you can go if you've been pretty much deplatformed and run off of every other platform that's out there. It is kind of the last vestibule for far right-wing online conspiracy theorists, as well as internet provocateurs and people who like to sniff the corn out of chicks' assholes. That's what that's what basically takes place there. And this article is interesting enough because it says here, on the evening of February 6th, as U.S. news networks reported the death of a doctor in Wuhan, China, who had warned of the deadly new virus, thousands of Americans were tuning in to a different kind of show. It's already ominous. It's already getting good right off that first paragraph. That's really actually only one sentence. I just want to point out that that's a little bit weird. Anyway, moving on. The good news is I heard that if you can actually get this if you're white, says Nick Fuentes, a far-right political commentator who told his viewers on America First on DLive, you're only susceptible to this if you're Asian. I think we'll be okay. Now, I've heard Fuentes say that in clips that have flown around on Twitter, as well as a lot of other things that Fuentes has said in thinly veiled attempts at jokes. I think people out there are going to try to argue, these are just jokes, man. They're just jokes. They don't mean nothing, man. They're just stupid things. Nick Fuentes. No, it's stupid. Nick Fuentes says them on purpose because Nick Fuentes knows how to piss people off. And Nick Fuentes knows that if he can frame these as a quote unquote joke, it still allows him to absolutely dog whistle to the audience of groypers that he calls the American First people who, I don't know, does he call them the American First Army? What's his name for these chuds? We have no idea just yet. Okay, so this continues. Fuentes, 22, a prolific podcaster who's on this show, who on his show has compared the Holocaust to a cookie baking operation. And I love, again, I just want to quickly point out on that front. I heard, and we're going to talk about something that was also released today that mentioned this. But I've heard people try to, again, argue, oh, that's just jokes, right? I mean, like, that's just a joke, mate. He's not being real about it. You know what I mean? It's not like he's actually, promoting the whole, no, it's not. It's my best Australian is terrible. I'm very sorry. Him talking about that cookie comment was a way to disprove the Holocaust. It's a Holocaust denial comment. He's using this very weird comparison of a cookie baking operation in order to devalue what has been known for years, as a way to call into question what has been known for years. Again, as I said, it's a dog whistle operation. And a lot of people, I think anyone with a brain can figure that out. But if you live your life wrapped in, the cloak of the KKK, you might find yourself trying to defend it because that's how you make your money, which is just the entire point of this article here. Now, he also argued that the segregation of Black Americans was better for them and that the First Amendment was not written for Muslims. And he's doing better than okay during the COVID-19 pandemic. He's part of a loose cohort of far-right provocateurs, white nationalists, and right-wing extremists who have built large engaged audiences on lesser-known platforms like DLive after being banned from mainstream sites for spreading hate speech and conspiracy theories. And obviously, they're referring to YouTube. And pretty much YouTube, right? Now, we know how much money, according to this article, that apparently Nick Fuentes has made. I'm not too sure over the amount of time. Maybe this is just entirely over the amount of time. But according to the fact that with DLive, you can look at how much money someone has made and you can figure it out. Fuentes appears to have made over $140,000 off of just those DLive streams, which is an absolute dickload of money for a 22-year-old to make while he's still living with his parents and goes on 12-hour live stream dates with the cat boy who is psychotic. Fuentes is an interesting character. He's a very interesting character. And that's the thing is, the people who donate the money here, again, it's all anonymous, right? It's all blockchain based stuff. So, again, it goes back to my theory about far right-wing groups or far right-wing individuals who have money pumping cash into these people like Fuentes and others in order to be able to facilitate that type of rhetoric and therefore get it out to a younger demographic of people who are going to be inclined to be indoctrinated into that line of thinking, which would then make for lifelong soldiers, so to speak. And again, you might go, Matt, take off the tinfoil, Matt, take off the tinfoil. If you think about it, I'm not really wrong here. They always accuse George Soros of the exact same thing, right? They accuse George Soros literally of the exact same thing. But when you flip the script, they don't want to believe it, as I've been encountering these last couple days. Now, one of the reasons why this to me is fascinating has a lot to do with the fact that when you apply this to other people that use DLive, and I'm going to use Ethan Ralph of the Killstream specifically, because Ethan Ralph, in his own words, actually describes that that's entirely the point of DLive, that's how they're making their money right now, is off of these particular individuals. So earlier today, I was sent a small clip someone had gleaned from the Patreon podcast that Ethan Ralph puts up. Now, they sent me the whole thing, specifically this one clip, and I listened to it for the most part. At least the parts I wanted to listen to. It was boring for the rest of it. I mean, it's like an average episode of the Killstream. You want to kind of commit seppuku by the end of it. But I did think that the clip I was sent is interesting. And I want to play this for you now. And I just want to put this out there. This is commentary on this. This was sent to me by somebody else. So under fair use laws, I can review this. I can provide commentary, critique, criticism, and education. And if Ethan Ralph would be so inclined, or if he feels he's so inclined to attempt to flag this video and to flag my stream, I invite you to try, because I would love to go and argue this with you in a court of law. That would be funny. Not something else you want to have while you have marvelous Mr. Vickers on your ass and you realize that you're in a legal world of deep shit. So let's take a look here at just this clip. This is a small, less than 1 minute, 20 seconds of this exchange. And I want you guys to listen to how Ethan describes Killstream and his existence. And you could almost say the importance of his existence on DLive. Again, listen to the ego, the attitude, and the fact that he thinks that no one is listening.
Of the income, doesn't it? It goes like, well, this is what they by average, this is what they'd earn or something like that.
No, they actually have a full Lino accounting on there. So it has the same thing that's on DLive itself.
All your benches.
By the way, I'm 8th on the earnings list on DLive, so that would include me. The top 10
rookie numbers. Gotta step that up.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm kind of like the emeritus DLiver, since I was the first out of our corner of the internet, really, Rand, to kind of go over here and start exploring. But yeah, so I'm number 8. Fuentes would be number 1, and I don't know. There'll be multiple people in between there. Probably some of the people that you know already. I bet Owen Benjamin's probably up there, and some of the people on our show, possibly Red Ice and people like that. The social disruption, I guarantee you, they probably all 10 of those are people that you know from this corner of the internet, because really nobody else makes any money on that website, Rand. Besides
Well,
your odd game streamer here and there, they will. But yeah.
Yeah, you see that right there?
Okay.
Ethan completely acknowledges, he completely understands, he completely explains that because of him being the emeritus of those who would make the trip to DLive, which I don't know if that's an untrue statement. He was on DLive first after being booted from YouTube, and then he hated DLive because, I don't know, it was hard to work with or whatever. He hated it. He criticized them constantly. He attacked them openly when he moved over to Stream Me. And then through his actions and the people he brought with him to Stream Me didn't last much longer. So he's back to DLive, which is a Chinese-owned company. And even now, they will not attack the Chinese on the platform. If you ever want to find a way to screw with him, get him, super chat him $1 to talk about the Chinese, and he won't do it. He will run and hide, afraid of criticizing the corporate overlords who dictate his ability to make money, which is really funny to me if you think about it. But